love is an irresistible desire to be irresistibly desired. A mother takes 20 years to make a man out of her boy, and another woman makes a fool of him in 20 minutes. Never be bullied into silence. Never allow yourself to be made a victim. Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. We love the things we love for what they are. Half the world is composed of people who have something to say and can't, and the other half who have nothing to say and keep on saying it. If we couldn't laugh, we would all go insane. A bank is a place where they lend you an umbrella in fair weather and ask for it back when it begins to rain. There is one thing more exasperating than a wife who can cook and won't, and that's a wife who can't cook and will. Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. Freedom lies in being bold. Happiness makes up in height for what it lacks in length. The best way out is always through. How many things would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? Home is the place where, when you have to go there, they have to take you in. Don't ever take a fence down until you know why it was put up. A diplomat is a man who always remembers a woman's birthday, but never remembers her age. To be a poet is a condition, not a profession. The afternoon knows what the morning never suspected. The reason why worry kills more people than work is that more people worry than work. How many things have to happen to you before something occurs to you? Poetry is when an emotion has found its thought and the thought has found words. A jury consists of 12 persons chosen to decide who has the better lawyer. Something we were withholding made us weak until we found it was ourselves. An idea is a feat of association, and the height of it is a good metaphor. We dance round in a ring and suppose, but the secret sits in the middle and knows. The world is full of willing people, some willing to work, the rest willing to let them. Thinking is not to agree or disagree. That's voting. The brain is a wonderful organ. It starts working the moment you get up in the morning and does not stop until you get into the office. Families break up when they get hints you don't intend and miss hints that you do. By faithfully working 12 hours a day, you may eventually get to be boss and work 14 hours a day. Education doesn't change life much. It just lifts trouble to a higher plane of regard. You are always believing ahead of your evidence. The most creative thing in us is to believe in a thing. A person will sometimes devote all of his life to the development of one part of his body, the wishbone. Anything more than the truth would be too much. A civilized society is one which tolerates eccentricity to the point of doubtful sanity. Good fences make good neighbors, The best things and best people rise out of their separateness. You've got to love what's lovable and hate what's hateable. It takes brains to see the difference. What we live by, we die by. Most of the change we think we see in life is due to truths being in and out of favor. For dear me, why abandon a belief merely because it ceases to be true? The worst disease which can afflict executives in their work is not, as popularly supposed, alcoholism. It's egotism. What is done for the love of it, or not really done at all. Don't tell anyone that you're lonely, because once again, you will convince yourself of this. Nobody has ever meant to remember or invent what he did with every cent. Life must be kept up at a great rate in order to absorb any considerable amount of learning. Our very life depends on everything, recurring till we answer from within. Like a piece of ice on a hot stove, the poem must ride on its own melting. A poem begins in daylight and ends in wisdom. Never marry a woman who has already had many men. It is likely that she will use her experience to harm you. No tears in the writer, no tears in the reader. No surprise in the writer, no surprise in the reader. Poetry is what gets lost in translation. To be social is to be forgiving. Talking is a hydrant in the yard, and writing is a faucet upstairs in the house. Opening the first takes all the pressure off the second. Avoid people who see your shortcomings and justify or even approve of them. Such people are either flatterers or cowards, or simply fools. Do not expect help from them in any trouble or misfortune.